Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video, and this will be a video that I really don't want to have to make, but I kind of have to make because my Sydney Swans were trounced like I thought. I thought that the key forwards would dominate, but I didn't think they would put Mills on a key forward and expect themselves to have any chance basically in the midfield and not put key defenders on key forwards, because I thought that was basically 101 tactics for AFL, to put players of similar height on players of similar height, basically. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So if you actually look here, for all intents and purposes, it was just a really bad AFL fantasy game. You know, Dangerfield top scored, and we had two guys score 100. And only two guys in the 90s, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the 80s. So we had 6 in the 80s, 2 in the 90s, so that's 8. We only had 10 guys go above 80 in this game. And just so many 60s and 70s here if you look at it. Like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys for Geelong alone go 60 to 70. And then for the Swans, it was basically 50s and 60s. And 40s. But yeah, let's start off with Dangerfield. Looked pretty good. I thought yeah, he was pretty dominant, and I think he just got to 110 in the end, but I don't think it's an option. Stewart again got himself up to 100. I don't know, I think it was more Duncan that got the tag from the likes of Clark from Sydney. So that was what I thought was going to happen. If we look, where is Duncan? I cannot see Duncan here. I'm probably missing him. What did Duncan get in the end? Because that will help me. What did he get? He got 44. So where's 44? Oh, there he is. Yeah, so Duncan was just put out of this game, and I think that was the whole plan. I think they put Clark on Duncan, and yeah, so that was, his price is going to absolutely tank now, and he's going to have a bad rotation, so that 100 comes out of his rotation in a couple of rounds, and that's just going to tank his price. But yeah, Stewart got to 100, and considering that was a tough matchup, and he's got who next week? He's got Essendon next week. They won't tag. No one will pretty much tag him, I don't think. So yeah, he's going to look really good. And I think he's just going to go up, and I think he can average, even with the 14 that he got in this game here, I think he can probably push 95 for the whole season, even with that terrible game. And probably get 98 if you take that out. I think that would be around the average if you took out that game. And then Holmes was interesting. I didn't expect him to score well, but I looked at the score at halftime and he was on 49, which was pretty much one of the leaders, because this game basically followed itself in the second half. Fantasy-wise, it was just a mirror of one or two Geelong players performing a quarter, and then as you can see here, Jeremy Cameron 30 and 30, he kicked, 5 in the end, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 in the end, and he is probably one of the last hopes we have for anyone kicking 100 goals. Kicked 5 here, really didn't look challenged, had too many opponents on him. I think it was simply that the Swans just needed to put Francis on Hawkins and put Gould or Blakey on Cameron, as you probably needed Blakey on Cameron just due to his speed and work rate and stuff. And I think he just burnt his opponents around the ground. Guthrie here, 81, was all right. He got tugged in the last quarter, it looks like. Yeah, pretty much in the last quarter. Bowes, 80, was all right. Again, he actually had a decent game this time. If I look, what did he end up with? I don't need that. Bowes ended up with, let's look at the stats. 19 touches, 6 marks, 2 tackles, 1 3 4, and behind. Yeah, really good game from him, and just a lot better from what he did last week not being able to get his hands on the footy. He got another 5 touches of the ball and another couple of marks, which really helped his AFL fantasy score go up. And yeah, didn't concede any free kicks, which helped his score again. And then you got O'Connor, did all right. Didn't really notice him. He could have been playing a tag to probably Warner. That's why Warner had a shocking game. Close, Blickovs, Simpson came in, and yeah, did all right. But I mean, you can't really get him, as I think he's gonna go out of their team, to be honest, sometime. Aitken did all right, and then no one else here really is to talk about except for Duncan's horrific performance. And yeah, he just struggled, to be honest. I think he copped the tag, and that's why he struggled. And now on to Sydney, and Heaney did all right, actually. But I think we need another couple of performances from him, as he'll go back up in price. He'll get back up to 700k. Laddams, that's the last week we see of him, as Hickey will be back this week, as Hickey played in the VFL, and if he doesn't get injured, I haven't looked at it, he'll be back in, as Laddams gave away, I think, 3 goals in himself from free kicks and turned the ball over a couple times. Like, I thought it was Ruckman. It was as simple as just either handball it to someone that's a smaller guy or kick it long down the line, not these fancy footwork that Laddams is trying to do. Mills was on halfback, and then when he got put in the middle, he actually turned up. But like, he's just, I don't know why he was put on Hawkins. It was a no-show basically for him. There was no point in doing that. Parker fell away in the second half to only get to 80. Lloyd just looked lost there. He's a small guy. The Swans don't have any big guys really. Big body guys, those 190 plus centimeter guys that aren't key position players, so they really do struggle. And then Gordon struggled in the first quarter, really gave away too many free kicks. If you look here, 1, 2, 3, he gave away 3 in the first, and then another one here, so it was up to 4 free kicks against. So he burns himself out of probably even a 90 here if he kicked straight and didn't have the free kicks against, and he looked off this game. So I'm not too worried about him. People will, like, there wasn't any other really good pick. I mean, you could have gone rookies there and had better midfielders, I guess, but with the option I wanted, I wanted Gordon. I wanted at least a Swans player in my fantasy team, so Gordon's there. Blakey, Campbell, Cunningham, none of these guys are really interesting. Warner had a really bad game. I think he got tagged out. Francis, I didn't really like him. I think Clark's always going to have a bad fantasy output, but he really stopped Duncan. And then Stevens had another bad game. Gould came on and did all right. And then Logan McDonald didn't do anything in the first half. Yes, he was playing, but didn't do anything. It took until the 20th minute of the third quarter for him to get a touch. And then you have Roberts here, who just got injured and is out with an MCL. So I believe it's an MCL. It's a knee injury, so he'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks, I expect. And that's his cash gen down the drain anyway, as he'll gain 10 or so K. So I'm happy I didn't go for him. And I think it was something, I was looking at the percentages during the game. 33% of the comp own him. If we look up here and we go to Roberts, and we go here, and he is owned by 34% of the comp. So a lot of people are going to have to trade him out or just keep him on the bench because he is going to do nothing. Well, there's actually probably no point trading him out at that point at 223k, because that's almost just a waste of a trade at this point. Well, it's almost a waste of 2 trades for people who brought him in, as you stopped your cash gen for that. From him, a lot of people probably took Jimby or Mackenzie out and are going to suffer 40, 50 points difference, and also potentially cash gen differences in the end. So I'm pretty happy with how I sit at the moment now after all these Saturday games. And yeah, so if we go back to the main screen there, that's the review of Geelong versus Sydney, the absolute smashing in the grand final rematch. And I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.